The irony of spirits. Since the beginning of our people, the great guide has placed a spirit in the cradle of every baby born. This spirit unifies with the physical body of the child, and they become one. This union is the cradle of our civilization. Every spirit gives talents to those they possess. One is given a gift for music, to another engineering, still others gifts in cooking, cleaning, managing, speaking, healing. Spirits help us do all. As we feed into our spirit, it grows stronger, larger, and once it is strong enough, the spirit itself will sometimes take over our physical bodies. This momentary possession is what all seek, but only some find. All gifts are treated as equal, for no one gets to choose. Instead, the great guide gives them out to whomever it chooses. But there is one gift that is not, one that every parent wishes their child not to have: the gift of a warrior spirit, sometimes given to boys. This type of spirit was rare. The need for it had almost completely vanished in the world. But still, the great guide sometimes gave that spirit, or demon, to a few. It was hard growing up with such a spirit inside you. Everyone in Jade's life had told him he must fight against the spirit he was given. All his friends were encouraged to strengthen and grow theirs, but he was told to quell his own. Virtue was that his spirit never possessed him, even a little. He was not perfect. The spirit wanted out. It wanted to teach him how to be aggressive and violent. Truth be told, sometimes he wanted to be. But for the most part, he was able to keep calm and control his inward being. "I'm heading to school," Jade said to his mother. She had a teaching spirit and taught at the local university. "I love you, dearest. Have a good day." "Love you too, Ma." The boy headed out toward the local school, walking alone. He had few friends, and even those were often nervous around him. He stopped at the crossroads of Mary Street and Washington Boulevard. A man stood at the opposite corner, surrounded by a small crowd. He was tall, strong, and seemed to demand attention. 3 women hung on his arms, each more beautiful than the last. Then Jade saw the man's spirit whipping around him like dust on a windy day. It was the mightiest spirit the boy had ever seen. It was a warrior spirit. This man had allowed his to grow. "You there," the man pointed to Jade. "I can sense your warrior spirit. Come here." The boy did not know why, but he moved toward the man. "Tell me, boy, what is your name?" "Jade. My name is Jade." "Mine is Tholomew," the man said. "Now show me what your warrior spirit can do." "I don't use my spirit. It would be dangerous." Jade said the words, but did not believe them. How could he say such a thing to such a man? Tholomew looked the boy over. "Come with me, Jade. You have much to learn." The crowd opened and the two walked away with an entourage behind. They headed toward the most extravagant hotel in the city. It was impressive with its towering height and shining glass windows. The inside was even more glorious. Crystal chandeliers, marble floors, and pillars that stretched to the painted ceiling. Jade followed Tholomew into the elevator against his better judgment, but maybe he did have something to learn from the man. The elevator took them to the top, and they entered the penthouse suite. It was filled with individuals that stared at Tholomew with envious gaze as they entered. Tantalizing women dressed in the least modest attire sat around the room and chatted with men who at least had the appearance of success. Jade and the man turned toward a smaller room and closed the door behind them. It was a quiet study filled with many books and a picturesque window that eyed the city. "They tell you to squash your spirit?" Tholomew asked. "Yes," Jade said, "but I can still feel it inside. I think it wants me to be violent." "Good, as it should. This spirit is supposed to hunger for violence, but that doesn't mean you have to be violent, per se. But you must feed it. You must grow into it and let it become part of you. Your life will change, no matter what society thinks." "But why would they tell me not to?" "Because they don't like people like us." He paused. "Tell me, how did our kingdom acquire the land to build such a city?" "Warriors," Jade answered. And who built the first walls to stop all the fighting and protect the other spirits? Warriors. Exactly. They build it all, and are still building it all behind the scenes. They tell you that it will ruin your life and the lives of others. Take a look around you. Do you think I have failed success? Is my life ruined? I have all the money one could hope to achieve. I have all the mates I could ever think for. My life is better than theirs, and I've brought so many others with me. Others like you, with warrior spirits. Let this spirit drive you. Let it consume you. Your success isn't guaranteed, but it is impossible without it. But I might hurt someone. Possibly someone who is weak. But warriors have always been the protectors of society. They need us. They want us. They want to be us. Jade spent the day following Tholomew. The man's habits were strange. He trained for hours in the evening with ancient weaponry and ate only the healthiest of meals. Jade tried both. The meal was disgusting, but the weapon gave him some sort of energy he had never felt before. His spirit grew. Over the weeks, he would visit Tholomew, who helped guide him into growing his warrior spirit. The spirit began to flow through Jade. It made him stronger, and to his surprise, smarter. He felt the urge to protect, the need to conquer each task placed before him, and the strength to do just that. "You must be careful, my dearest Jade," his mother told him. "Warrior spirits can grow into demons." At that moment, they heard the shatter of a window. Jade jumped out of his seat and began to feel his spirit course through him. A strange man stepped inside the room. He too had a warrior spirit twirling about him. "Get down!" the man cried. "No," Jade said. A short fight ensued. The antagonist was defeated quite easily. Jade had been training his spirit. The boy did not remember much about the fight. His spirit had possessed him. The warrior inside defeated its enemy, and the police were called. A week later, Jade walked quietly through the town. The cool evening air kissed his skin as the sun began to paint the sky a bright pink. A scream was heard nearby. He turned and ran toward the source of the noise. There, in the middle of the park, was Tholomew. Nearby, several distraught women and 5 men with their warrior spirits about them stood. Tholomew's spirit grew around him. The spirit grew and grew until it hung over the man. Its windy body disappeared and became like a shadow. It reached out and began to touch the women. They fell back in despair. It then began to consume the other warrior spirits of the men around him. Then it turned toward Tholomew and began to devour him and in turn itself until nothing more was left. Jade shook his head. Tholomew was right to allow his spirit to grow, but he had allowed it to grow so much that it hurt the people around him. It had become a demon, and demons destroy.